year, Time Man of the Year last year. So, oh my gosh, HLS. Before I go and get drunk, what did you have for cross examination?
I did want to talk about your number 2, 12 Years a Slave.
I cannot believe you're actually going there, but go ahead.
So
I wanted you to go there first, HLS. I couldn't go there. I needed you to get in. So go through the door first. I'm right behind you.
I've known you for a long time. I've known you for a long time. You've been my man for a long time, and everyone knows we're family. So I know your job. We talk. Now, when you're saying this predicted the future, you had an option to get off the plantation.
But do I?
Several times. Several times.
Now this was my question, right?
I'm about to go 5th level of learning for you. Of understanding.
I'm ready for it.
Right here. Okay. It's your boy SoSo Juv, and welcome to another episode of the My 5 Cents podcast, the only podcast that takes a guest and turns them into a credible judge. And I cannot wait to get back into it. We still got HLS in the building.
What up?
We have Logical Genius in the building.
In the building.
And we got Jesse Hirsch, our esteemed guest, still in the building.
Hey, kids.
I love that. So let's go ahead and do a recap on our 5 cents there. Logical Genius, start us off.
All right, folks. My 5 cents was Total Recall, the movie that introduces to self-driving cars. Number 4, Minority Report, the touch face interface and predictive ads or targeted ads. Number 3, a very old movie, A Trip to the Moon, our first prediction of men traveling to the moon or man traveling to the moon. 2001 Space Odyssey, which was my number 2. A lot of things in there. And my number 1 was Back to the Future Part 2.
All right, HLS.
And for me, at number 5, Man of the Year, about a TV show host who becomes president. And number 4, Her, about a man who falls in love with his phone assistant. And number 3, Minority Report, targeted ads, touchscreens. And number 2, The Rise of Reality Television, Truman Show. And number 1, COVID-19, the movie called Contagion.
All right, and my 5 cents on the topic of movies that predicted the future. At number 5, you had The Siege. At number 4, you had The Truman Show. At number 3, you have Outbreak. At number 2, you have 12 Years a Slave. If you know, you know. And at number 1, we have The Jetsons, the movie. So, Jesse, we're about to get into something that we like to call cross-examination. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions of us as you kind of deliberate and try to figure out which way you're going to lean. And it allows us to kind of poke holes at each other's list as well. So do you have anything for us for cross-examination?
Well, before I start, let me throw out a curveball, because I'm the kind of person who believes that rules are for fools. And you guys have empowered me as your authority to be as arbitrary as possible. So I'm going to give you 2 opportunities for bonus points.
Okay.
Anyone who wants to cite, and this is because I want to see you guys thinking on your feet, and this is how I kind of make my decision.
I love it.
Bonus points for either a TV show that you think predicted the future,
Star Trek.
And then even special double points if you can cite a hip-hop song that predicted the future.
Star Trek for me for TV show. I'll go right there. Star Trek.
But here's my first question as part of the cross-examination, and this goes to the Logical Genius. You were really focused, and your argument kind of relied on the proof of the predictability, right? You wanted to see evidence. I'm curious why.
So we get very creative on this show, right? You've probably heard this cross-examination. You know, we take every single angle to try to poke holes at each other's lists.
So you're anticipating the counterattack.
Yeah. And the text I got was, here's the topic: top 5 movies that predicted the future. That meant it actually was a right, accurate prediction because it happened, past tense, right? It was done. So that's my approach to it, and that was why I took my approach of things that actually happened, of things that actually were proven in that. Because otherwise, I could have gone very extreme, right, and just predicted something like, you know, Armageddon. Right? I don't know if I want that future to happen, but I can go that route, or I can go. What was that movie 2000? The one with the natural disaster. There's so many of them, right?
Like Independence Day. And...
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to keep it in reality, because even though a lot of these movies are science fiction based, we're having fun around that, but I want to see whether or not we can connect it to reality, and that's why I went with the movies that I went with.
Very logical.
To answer your question, Jesse, the song that best predicted the future, the hip hop song, it's a little ditty by a man called Sir Mix-a-Lot called "Baby Got Back." And since and since then, everyone has a big backside. It's ridiculous. And TV show, the first one that came to mind is Knight Rider with the talking car, because not everyone's car talks. Granted, it's through your phone, but it'll talk to you and it'll give you directions the whole night. So Knight Rider and Baby Got Back.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, and to repeat my answer was, I said Star Trek. I don't have a hip hop song, but Star Trek was it. I mean, you had the cell phones, which were really cell phones, and then the sliding doors. I remember seeing, I was watching Neil, I forgot his name, his podcast. He was like, everything else seemed right to me, but how did they do the sliding doors? That was like so futuristic, automatic doors. So Star Trek to me, TV show.
Right on. Now, SoSo Juv, a long-time listeners may know the answer to this question, but what was that job that you had for 12 years?
Oh, it's the current job that I'm in.
I was gonna say had.
Yeah. I just finished up my 12th year in it, and
you haven't made a break yet.
It's still haven't found any liberation. I'm just looking for liberation. I'm like one step from Amistad. Give us free. Like I'm ready. Oh my goodness. For me, I mean, the easy button would be the Jetsons, all right? Because I already mentioned Jetsons the movie, so I just want to solidify what I've been saying. So I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. And I'll put two out there. One was Ludacris, where he talked about a new phenomenon, talk about white women with ass. That wasn't a thing before. White women used to be very flat in the back. And now there's definitely that new phenomenon. And then there was one by Rod Digger way back in the Flip Mode days, Flip Mode Squad, in which she rapped about Kobe Bryant really like being that guy. And like he wasn't even a known commodity at that point. So that Rod Digger joint from that Flip Mode album there, yeah, right there.
Right on. Now, HLS, and I don't want to prevent you guys from prosecuting, cross-examining each other and trying to sabotage each other. But HLS, there's a bit of overlap, I kind of thought, that I want you to explain or elaborate between Man of the Year and Truman Show. Because
he Googled it. That's the overlap.
That's the overlap. That's the overlap.
But it strikes me that Truman Show and Man of the Year kind of have Trump in common. Right? Like there's Truman Show reality television and there's Man of the Year kind of and they both have some kind of Trump elements to that. I don't want to help the logical genius of SoSo Juv, but you could argue that those picks are not distinct enough.
Yeah, fair. So what I will say, the specific thing about Man of the Year is that when he first ran for president in the movie, he wasn't really taking it serious. It was a joke because he's a satire TV host. And he says, oh, I'm going to enter the race and just see what happens. And that's exactly what happened with Donald Trump. Like, he entered the race and he said all these outlandish things. And at first, people were running it and giving him a voice because what outlandish things is going to say next. And all of a sudden, it started to snowball and pick up steam. It was because I was working in news at the time, and it was one of those things. Oh, what is Trump going to say next? Let's air it, and it gave him a voice. The media really elected Trump in a crazy way.
Yeah.
Now the Truman Show is different because you kind of locked in on this guy, just like, oh, he's gonna have breakfast, or he's gonna go to work, and granted, only he knew only he was the only one not in on the joke. But you have people now in like who are reality stars, like stars, where I don't know if I don't want to say people are untalented, but
You can. It won't be
okay, fair.
entirely
I'll
inaccurate.
say that like the beautiful
Speak your
thing
mind,
about
Angel. Let's speak your
the
mind.
beautiful thing about the Kardashians is Kim really took her family on her back. Literally, she took her family
No, that
on
was
her.
Ray J's family on her back. That's what that was. That was Ray J's
I knew you were going there.
All of her sisters, even her brother had a reality show. Her mom is like everyone is now famous because of what Kim did. And now people are, and you have all these housewives. You have like 8 iterations or more of the housewives. So that's the difference to me. That's the difference to me.
Well argued.
So, Logical Genius, did you have anything for cross examination?
I, I do. I do. I would say this about both of your both of your movies about like outbreaks and contagion and outbreak, right? I don't know. It's not wrong to say that in the future there's going to be a pandemic, right? Or some sort of epidemic out there, right? Disease oriented. Human history has proven that, right? It's not the first time we've had that. So to me, that's like, is that really a prediction? Like that's like saying the sun is gonna rise tomorrow and the moon's gonna come out and the earth is going to spin. Again, if you're a flat earther, I get it. It doesn't spin. It's just a coin sitting on top of a turtle or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know how much weight I would give that. I mean, you HLS, you had it pretty high. You had that type of movie at your number one. I wouldn't knock it for being in your list, but at number one, that's pretty high. So you had it in the middle, which I think was a better move to have it somewhere in the middle. Because again, I don't think it's necessarily wrong to say that, but I don't know. I mean, if for me again, it's how you interpret the question, right? It being that Jesse is a futurist, I would think he would like if I were to go to Jesse and say, Jesse, I need you to tell me about my future, and you said to me tomorrow you're going to have toast. Well, okay, Jesse, what kind of futurist are you? But if you said tomorrow, I think they're going to have a flying car and you're going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, I can think further out. That to me is the future. So that's why
What do you got
I would
against
not.
toast?
I love toast. I love toast. I'm
But
just
that sounds
saying,
like a
like,
good future. I'm just saying.
it is. But is it a great future? I don't know. But that's why I would probably criticize your both of your lists for those elements, which are pretty much the same. You're talking about outbreaks and global outbreaks and pandemics.
Would you like to go first? Would you like me to go first?
I'll go first. I talked a lot. You can go. SoSo Juv.
Oh, okay. All right, I got your back. I'll cover you there. So it's not just like, oh, okay, the movie predicted sickness, right? Which I think is what you're alluding to. Like, okay, like,
No,
hey, I'm gonna have
pandemics,
toast tomorrow.
epidemics.
The fact that it is reached a global, that's the piece that was predicted or got right in 2020, where we're shutting everything down. That was never before seen in our generation, the generation before that, maybe since 1912 or the bubonic plague or whatever it may be. So you would think with modern technology, advances in healthcare, that we wouldn't see something like that because we've become so advanced. And here it is that science evolved itself, or nature maybe evolved itself and gave us COVID, which was similar to I'll speak to outbreak and he can speak to contagion. I find that so interesting that you made that your argument, especially with you having Back to the Future 2 as one of your movies, which was just a replay of Back to the Future 1. So like, are we talking about the future? Are we talking about the past? What exactly are we talking about here with that? So I'm so surprised that you brought up this argument with your number one being Back to the Future Part 2, mind you, not the 1 but 2.
Well,
But
because
go ahead, HLS.
let me respond quickly. That part one was him going to the past. and part 2 was him going to the future. So those are 2 different movies.
He went to the future to go back to the past. And then we saw the replay where we saw the 2 Michael J. Foxes, and then one is fading. And like,
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I watched that movie before.
I mean, we watched a bunch of movies before this. I mean, Outbreak isn't the first movie about pandemics and disease and all of that. I mean,
No, I'm talking the movie within the movie, because they played clips from the first one. They just were regurgitating it from a different angle in part 2.
I mean,
he was watching himself.
I mean, that's
strumming
the
guitar.
movie. I mean, that's the movie. I don't know. I'm not questioning the plot of the movie, but okay.
Go ahead,
HLS.
All right. So for me, I think the reason why to me, Contagion predicted the future, because it literally happened. Everything in that movie happened in real life. Whether it happened from overseas, whether there was panic buying, whether it spread like a wildfire, or people, literally, Contagion should have been the playbook of how to handle COVID-19. To me, it was spot on. So it predicted the future to a T. To me,
you should have, guest purchased that for Trump when he was in office. When it happened.
seriously.
Just send him an Amazon gift card purchase for Contagion, and then see, hey, FYI, you should watch this.
Yeah.
That might have changed everything right there. Like,
I know, seriously.
He wouldn't have been talking about drinking bleach or ultraviolet rays.
yeah.
Jesus, that's so terrible. Man of the year, man of the year last year. So, oh my gosh, HLS. Before I go and get drunk, what did you have for cross examination?
I did want to talk about your number 2, 12 Years a Slave.
I cannot believe you're actually going there, but go ahead.
So
I wanted you to go there first, HLS. I couldn't go there. I needed you to get in. So go through the door first. I'm right behind you.
I've known you for a long time. For a long time. You've been my man for a long time, and everyone knows we're family. So I know your job. We talk. Now, when you're saying this predicted the future, you had an option to get off the plantation.
But do I?
Several times. Several times.
Now
this was my question, right?
I'm about to go 5th level of learning for you. Of understanding.
I'm ready for it.
Right here. Okay. We have traded in the whips and the chains for taxes, for not the cost. Hold on, inflation, right? That's now the new leash, right? It's whipping us now. So although it's not as literal, this is more of a metaphoric example. But we are definitely still in chains, y'all. By no means do I feel free that I can be whatever it is that I want to be. I am being what I have to be able to survive for me and my family. So, although it's not literal, but metaphorically, we are still in chains, y'all.
Well, I'm gonna go a little more literal in this. I'm gonna challenge it on the technicality. Here's why.
What's the technicality?
You were in the same industry for 12 years, but have you been in the same job for 12 years? Where you started from day one.
Not the same job. Not the same job. Same industry.
That's all. That's all I have to say.
Okay. I don't know if that technicality sways it. I don't know if it sways it like that. But 12 years a slave. If you know, you know. Okay? And maybe you two don't know, but I think Jesse knows. So for me, cross-examination, I just have a little bit of an issue, and Jesse might have saved you on it, but I still wanted to point it out. You gave this whole soliloquy, Logical Genius, talking about how everything that I put on my list, it has happened for sure, like 100%. And then you went on to your number 4, and you said with your number 4, we're not quite there yet. Jesse's the one who said, yeah, we might be there yet. But in explaining your number 4, you said, we're not quite there yet, which counter argues your whole premise for your
No,
list.
you can replay the tape if you
Oh,
want.
I can't wait! I can't wait!
We were
for
talking
your
about
wins.
the part that I was
I
talking
can't
about was
wait.
the
You'll make it make
3D,
sense.
the 3D hologram. We're not
I
quite there
can't
yet.
wait. Wait, hold on. Let me get the right thumb. I can't wait in your make it make sense for you to replay that moment
Run it
in
back.
which Jesse
Run
bailed
it
you
back.
out.
Run it
Jesse
back.
bailed you out and said,
Run
"Yeah,
it
we
back.
are there
We
yet."
can run
But
it
you
back
did
right
say,
now. We can run it back right. I said the 3D hologram piece because if you remember that scene, he was running through. I think it might have been a airport way or a store where it scanned his eyes, recognized him, and then boom, 3D projected. I said at that point, I'm like, we're not quite there yet, but the targeted ads, we are.
And again, not to defend a logical genius, but didn't they bring Tupac back from the dead using holograms?
They did. They
Right?
did.
So, again, this is
Maybe.
we're on the fence
But
here.
he's not appearing while I'm walking through Walmart, like like
You're not walking through
Not
the right
yet.
Walmart though, clearly.
not
Right?
yet.
Like
I mean, I
maybe
see
it's
people
some high
doing a
end.
bunch of TikTok videos in Walmart, but I don't see Tupac holograms just yet. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe like it'll scam me. It's like, oh, Logical Genius, you're a Biggie fan. Okay, it's Biggie for you, like maybe, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
"But you know where I think we are? I think we are at decision time."
Decision time.
Jesse, we want to know who is in third place.
Well, allow me to just say that judging all of your contributions has been a little bit difficult. And like many past judges before me, I did kind of come with my own kind of list, my own sense. And that did influence, right? I was seeing which one of you guys would pick what I thought. And, on the hip hop song, I was thinking Gangstar just to get a rep. Because if you think about social media today, what people are willing to do to get that reputation is huge.
Mhm.
And, logical genius, if to your point about technical, if I was measuring this purely on technicalities, you would by far be the winner, like by light years be the winner. But I did kind of allude in our first episode when I was talking about the kind of futurist I am,
Mhm.
that it's really about metaphor and kind of abstraction. So I'm sorry, logical genius, as all Canadians say, you're in third place because as much as you may wish it to be, the future's not logical, right? This is where Spock. This is where Spock was a bit of a false leader. The future is illogical, Kirk, and it's something we need to do with. And because second place ain't shit,
Now hold on.
Okay,
I can't wait to listen to your make it make sense, logical genius. How about that for predicting the future? Huh? I can't wait to
I'm
listen
still not
to your...
wrong. I'm still not wrong. I said what
I can't wait for
I'm
your
still
make
not
it make
wrong.
sense. This is the most exciting make it make sense that
I'm still
I
not
think.
wrong. The
Okay, I
episode
can't
is going
wait
to be
for
a
it, though. I can't
5-second
wait for it.
clip. It's going to be a 5-second clip of me saying we're not there yet. That's it. And I'm going to be 100% right. So,
and if I might share a very small anecdote to undermine my own authority and reinforce why maybe logical genius is the ultimate winner here, even though he's in third. In 2013, I hosted the Toronto Bitcoin Summit, and I charged people 1 Bitcoin each to attend this event. And I ended up with 50 Bitcoins that I then spent in the next several months. Because I thought, man, this is junk. I hate these nerds. So if I still had those 50 Bitcoins today, I probably could have a Tupac hologram playing in the background.
That is a great story. Thank you for sharing that one.
And I say this because where maybe logical genius is right is that the predictive future is kind of easy to measure. But I think the metaphorical future is by far more interesting. And can I announce the winner now? Is it premature to announce the winner?
Please go for it.
SoSo Juv, congratulations. I have to tell you, you had me the moment you said The Siege. Because The Siege, I remember on 9/11, when the plane, I was watching when the second plane, went into the tower. I thought of that movie that day. I totally thought, oh my God, The Siege totally called this. And everything that happened after that was exactly in that movie. But I also like that you used metaphor, right? That you were both using these movies as examples of what we had, but you kind of recognize that the future really is something that we imagine, right? Like all we ever experience is a series of todays, which is why, your point about work and 12 years a slave I thought was really profound, because it is wage slavery, right?
Thank
We
you.
are. And here's the scary part. AI is kind of the new overseer, right? It's kind of policing us and make sure that we don't get out of line and we don't organize or talk to people. So I thought that was a very powerful argument, SoSo Juv. So congratulations. Canada loves you. Poutine for everybody.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Poutine for everybody, everybody. Poutine for everybody. The champ is here.
And double points for pronouncing it correctly. The Quebecois will love you for it.
And I love Quebecois. I've had a lot of success up in Canada, that's for sure.
Right on.
Yes. So, Jesse, what's your 5 cents on the topic? From champion to champion, what is your 5 cents on the topic?
So my number 5 was The Matrix, and it's partly because I think everyone has embraced it as the metaphor to describe where we are, and we all wonder: is this a simulation or is this real? And I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, but I think it's an interesting philosophical question. Number 4 was The Siege, because I absolutely thought that was a brilliant movie and predicted the whole war on terror and targeting American Muslims as the enemy. My number 3, ironically enough, because I am a big Denzel Washington fan, was Deja Vu. And the way Deja Vu, I kind of feel that we're at this moment now, especially with quantum computing and our understanding of quantum entanglement, where we may not have the ability to do what they did in Deja Vu, but we're getting close. And I think we're thinking about time and circular time in a way that they did with Deja Vu. So I had to put that in there. We all kind of had a sort of Trump-esque movie, and mine was Idiocracy. I thought Idiocracy, which is a movie that basically talks about how stupid America society had become, is anyone who hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it. Again, it kind of speaks to the recent election and just how stupid politics has become. And my number 1, and this is where logical genius, I loved that you went to the trip to the moon. I thought that was, again, on technicalities, I would have given you the win for sure, because that was a brilliant cinematic pick. I picked The Wizard of Oz, because I think The Wizard of Oz predicted AI. Because I think AI is more about the guy behind the curtain, right? Where we all think it's this magical wizard that knows everything, but it's Elon Musk pulling the strings, hoping that we don't notice kind of what's going on.
Wow, I love it. I love it.
And for TV series, I mentioned The Gangstar just to get a rep. TV series, the greatest television show of all time, The Wire. And The Wire had a concept called juking the stats, where you would manipulate statistics. They did it for crime stats. They did it for media, school, education. That's kind of the world we live in right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Where everyone's kind of manipulating stats and the algorithm to make them look like they won an election or, their returns on their company. So I really feel that we're in this world where things aren't as they seem, like the Truman Show, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to push back because we're all kind of slaves to the system. So those were my picks, but I think we all kind of had some interesting insights as to why we look to the past to understand the present, to anticipate the future.
Yes, and speak of insights, we actually took it to social media and asked the people what they thought on the topic. And this was their 5 cents on the topic. So at number 5, you had The Truman Show, which was mentioned over. At number 4, you had Her, which I believe HLS had on his list. At number 3, we had iRobot. And I think with the artificial intelligence coming into play, I think people are really getting into that piece. At number 2, you had Contagion. Some people said it predicted how COVID would play out almost a decade later. And at number one, and also our shout out for this week goes to 1-0. His shout out was this, that the costume designer picked Crocs for the stupid future footwear. And here we are. And that is number one in Idiocracy as the number one movie that predicted the future right there. So not only do we ask the people, we actually go ahead and we ask AI what it thinks on the topic. And Logical Genius, what is the Chat GPT poll for this week?
Yeah, so Jesse, you know from the show, we ask AI, see what AI thinks. It's supposed to be the future. Can it tell us from the past or from the present what movies it predicted the future well? Again, you already know based on the prompting, so I prompted a certain way, and so it gave a certain response. At number 5, it had Her, like HLS called out. Talked about AI companions and the development of AI companions and people getting closer to that. HLS pointed out some examples of why that's happening today. At number 4, it agreed with you with the Matrix. Talked about virtual simulations, virtual reality, so that metaphor of that. At number 3, it had Minority Report again. Predictive policing. It mentioned personalized advertising, gesture-based technology. So number 3 is Minority Report. At number 2, it gave Blade Runner, which is an interesting one because it talks about genetic engineering, synthetic biology, and corporate controlled societies. So it had that for number 2. And at number 1, it had a 2001 Space Odyssey. Talked about space travel, which when really not there yet, I guess, commercially. AI, communication technologies. We talked about video conferencing, tablets, stuff of that nature. And that's what GPT had to say.
All right. So here we are. We have entered into the time frame where we can allow you, Jesse, to shout out any projects that you're working on, any social media. How can people get in contact with you?
MetaViews is kind of the brand or the name I use to have fun on the internet. I do a newsletter. I just started a podcast again because I've been listening to you guys and getting so inspired. And I'm like, I want to have fun too. I generally just encourage people to Google me. You know, just ask your local algorithmic authority. Who is that Jesse Hirsch guy? I've been putting crazy stuff up on the internet for I think almost 30 years now. So yeah, there's just a lot of crazy ideas out there for people to get pissed off, offended, or have fun.
I love it.
So go ahead and Google him. We know that HLS is good at that stuff. So go ahead and Google Jesse.
It's called research. It's called research. It's called research.
It's called plagiarism.
It's called research.
So go ahead and follow Jesse. We're gonna go ahead and say goodnight to you. I love this show, guys. I'm sorry. I love this show. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and say goodnight to the people. Logical Genius, kick us off.
Folks, I don't know. I mean, I guess this is ring rust. I've been out of the game for so long, but Jesse, thank you so much for being on the show. You made a very illogical choice. But you know what, folks? I will try to do better next time. Good night.
HLS, go ahead and say goodnight to the people.
Jesse, you stepped in the wrong direction. Not only did I give a fire list, I answered your bonus question faster and better than any of my colleagues. Baby got back, definitely predicted the future. But alas, I will take my non-victory. And I'll go back to the lab and do better next time. Good night, everyone.
And it's your boy SoSo Juv and your champion for this week. People! First of all, HLS shouldn't be upset. He should consider this a victory that he's not in third place, because that's where he typically is, right? So we should be happy that that happened. Also, I have to say, Jesse, your decision-making was quite impeccable. I mean, you were on the same wavelength. I knew that I was going to the 5th level of understanding. My sister introduced me to the 5th level of understanding when she let me know that the bathroom is in the bathroom. And that's what I have to say to people. Good night. And Jesse Hirsch And our esteemed guest, please say goodnight to the people.
Good night. See you soon.
We're out. Yeah.